Okay, so this is a quick video to review the parts of the microscope and how to make microscope how to use it and how to do scientific drawings. So let's quickly go over the parts of the microscope. We're going to start with the piece that we look through. That's called the ocular lens, or it can be referred to as the eyepiece. Next, we have the tube where the light passes through, and that's called the body tube. The next two parts are very important, especially for the use, and I'll be referring to both of them throughout how to use the microscope. The first one is the coarse adjustment knob and the fine adjustment knob. Now down here we have the arm of the microscope, and obviously at the bottom we have the base of the microscope. Now moving over to this side, we have the piece that spins around, which is called the revolving nose piece, and attached to the revolving nose piece is the objective lenses. The microscopes we'll be using have 3 different powers of objective lenses. Now, we have the stage here where we will be placing our slides, and they'll be held down by a pair of stage clips. Underneath the stage, we have something that controls the amount of light that goes through, and that's referred to as the diaphragm. And last but not least, we actually have the light source for our compound microscope. Okay, next let's go over some rules when we're handling it. Number 1, always carry the microscope with 2 hands. One hand will be placed on the arm of the microscope, and one hand should be underneath the base. Also make sure when you're carrying the microscope that the cord is not loose and dangling so that you could trip over it. When you are viewing objects under the microscope, always make sure you're starting on low power, okay, and that the lowest power objective is positioned over the diaphragm. Once the slide is in position, make sure you hold it down using the stage clips. You don't want the slide to be moving around, especially if you've just got it into focus and you're doing a microscope drawing. You'll have to start redrawing your image. Now, before you actually raise the stage, make sure you take a look at the microscope from the side. Make sure that you know that you're holding onto the coarse adjustment knob. Make sure that everything's aligned. Make sure that it's not too close to the object. So just do a quick check to make sure that when you start to raise it, nothing's going to get in the way or crack the lens. Remember, never, ever, ever let the lens touch the top of the microscope slide or that cover slip. Now, look through the eyepiece and slowly raise the objective using the coarse adjustment knob until the image starts to become into focus. You could move your slide around on the stage to make sure that you are actually focusing in on a good object. And then you're going to rotate the revolving nose piece to the medium power lens. Now, because we're on medium power, we are not going to touch the coarse adjustment knob. If I see you doing this, I'm going to take marks off for not knowing how to use the microscope properly. So be sure to now only use the fine adjustment knob to bring the object back into focus. What you're going to do is once you do have it in focus, you're going to repeat those steps again, but now using the highest power objective as well. And again, only use the fine adjustment knob. Once you are done drawing your image and have found your objects and you're all done with that slide, you need to rotate the nose piece back to the lowest power objective lens before you take off the slide. You also want to make sure you lower the stage as far as it will go. That will maximize the distance between the slide and the lenses to make sure that none of them scratch or break. And again, if you're done with the slides or the microscope, make sure to return everything to their appropriate locations and make sure again to carry that microscope with 2 hands. Now remember, microscope slides, we're going to be having glass slides, glass cover slips. If you happen to break one, and it could potentially happen, make sure you let me know right away. I'll give you the dustbin and the broom, and we can clean up any broken glass. It's going to go into that broken glass container. And again, if you do happen to cut yourself on something sharp while we're doing the lab, let me know as well. Okay, so always remember your safety. Now, last, I just want to quickly talk about scientific drawings. When we're looking through the microscope, we are going to be making drawings of what we actually see. This is called a scientific drawing. Always, always use pencil. Okay, if I see you making a drawing in pen, you will have to redo it. Okay, I will not accept anything done in pen. So make sure you have a pencil or borrow a pencil from me. Okay, you're going to need to give your drawing an appropriate title. Okay, a nice descriptive title. Now remember, a scientific drawing is a figure. So where do those titles go? At the bottom. Okay, now you're going to need to record the magnification of the item. Now, in order to calculate what the magnification was, you need to take the magnification of the objective lens, which is written on the actual objective lenses, and multiply that by the eyepiece magnification to get your total magnification. So, for example, if the objective lens was 40 and your eyepiece was 10, 40 times 10 gives you 400, and that would be your total magnification that you would record. And last but not least, when you are recording your image, when you're actually drawing your drawing, try to draw it as best as possible. Okay, try to line things up where they are in the microscope on your drawing. Try to have the approximate size. And if you are putting labels on, remember to make sure that you're going to use a ruler and align your labels to the right side of the image. So always leave room on the right side because that's where you're going to be putting most of your labels. Okay, that's it.